Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee for today, March 22nd. We've been joined by council members Warsami, Fry, and Quincy, which is a quorum of our committee. We'll begin by approving the consent agenda items. These are items 15 through 24. They include a number of low bids and some license operating conditions. Are there any items 15 through 24 that anyone would like to remove for discussion? Seeing none, I'll move the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then move on to item number 1, which is the Mount Olivet Careview Home and Mount Olivet Home Bond issuance. And there should be staff. Mr. Curtis, welcome.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, what you have before you is will be a public hearing and request for passage of a resolution that would approve and consent to the issuance of up to $33 million in 501c3 tax-exempt revenue bonds by the City of St. Louis Park. This is for Mount Olivet Careview Home, Mount Olivet Home, and to authorize the execution of a cooperative agreement with the City of St. Louis Park. The funds will be used for new construction and renovation of existing facilities on approximately 55th and Lindale South.
Are there any questions for Mr. Curtis with regard to item number 1? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on item number 1, which is a resolution approving and consenting to $33 million in 501c3 tax-exempt revenue bonds. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of this item.
Item number 1 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 2, which is a joint public hearing with the MCDA Operating Committee. So I'll call the MCDA Operating Committee to order and ask for the staff report on item number 2. Ms. Moses, welcome.
Thank you. Madam Chair, members of the committee, before you today is a request for a resolution of support and authorization for the MCDA to submit an application to the state of Minnesota for a Minnesota Investment Fund loan to Total Quality Logistics for their expansion into Minnesota. The public hearing and resolution are part of the state's requirements for the MIF program, which provides funds to local units of government who then pass along the funds on to the expanding business. DEED conveyed this loan request to city staff after the state was contacted by Total Quality Logistics about a potential expansion into Minneapolis. TQL was founded in 1997 and is headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, with satellite offices across 18 states. They provide third-party logistics services for companies in the United States and Canada. They're planning to lease roughly 8,200 square feet of space at 100 South 5th Street for their new office, and the projected costs for the new office is $250,000. We plan to apply for up to $125,000 in the MIF loan, and that combined with other equity sources would allow them to open the office and add up to 50 jobs over the next 2 years. The average wage of these jobs would be $26 per hour plus benefits. The terms of the loan would be finalized after the application is approved by DEED, and the Total Quality Logistics would have up to 2 years to fulfill the hiring requirements in order to receive at least partial loan forgiveness. So we're requesting authorization to submit the loan application, and if the loan is approved, to accept the funds and execute all related documents. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And John Schaffner from DEED is here as well.
Oh, great. Okay, great. Does anyone have any questions? I actually have a question for DEED, so that'd be great if they're here and could answer it. Who's here from DEED? Oh, great. John, if you could just answer my simple question. There's been a lot of conversation at the state of Minnesota with regard to equity and the governor's major effort going into equity and job creation. So I'm wondering if this fund has zip code hiring or anything in it that would have some sort of incentive or requirement that the 50 jobs that pay $26 an hour would go to Minneapolis residents, Northside residents, people of color, anything like that? Or is this just, yeah, you're moving your business from one location to another, we're going to help you build out your office space? You can come up here and answer that.
There's not specific hiring requirements for any particular category of person, but there is a requirement that the company lists the jobs through the state's workforce centers and make them available to all applicants on a non-discriminatory basis. Now, we would also encourage them to work with our workforce development people who are plugged into all the communities and making sure that applicants that were looking for work were made aware of these positions. And the other exciting thing, I think, is the company does have an in-house 26-week training program available. So I think this would be a particular opportunity that could be available to people looking to enter the workforce, primarily professionals, but I think the company is looking for ambitious, hardworking people that can come in and basically grow their business. So it would be our expectation that they would make everybody aware of the jobs and be fair in the hiring, but we don't have specific requirements.
So thanks for that explanation. That might explain why all these jobs keep coming into the city, but our own residents and people of color don't have any way to get them. If it's only the same advertising requirement as it would be anywhere else, then how are we focusing on getting people who live in the city's north side or near north side that have chronic unemployment, which is a stated goal of the governor? So I would assume Deed would share that goal. How do we actually make that a reality? It sounds to me like this is like giving a corporation $125,000 to build out their office space with zero requirement that they do anything to hire anyone who's most in need of a job. Am I reading this incorrectly?
Well, again, it would be our encouragement to make people aware of it. It gets into one of the things I think we would have a challenge with is I think it's a bigger picture item about making sure that everybody's aware of the jobs, making sure that the workforce is developed to the point to where they're ready to move into these positions. So I think it's up to all of us to make sure that we're making people looking for jobs aware of the jobs and getting them plugged into the training opportunities such that they're ready to go when these positions start hiring. With the unemployment rate being fairly low in the state, a lot of the companies are very eager to create opportunities for people. So, and it would certainly be our expectation and understanding that this company is going to do everything they can to make those opportunities available for everyone who's qualified and interested in the positions.
Okay, well, thank you. Thanks. Does anyone else have any questions? Anyone? There are no further questions, so we'll open the public hearing on item number 2 and see if there's anyone here who would like to comment. This is a public hearing on item number 2, which is Minnesota Investment Fund loan application for Total Quality Logistics. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. I'm supportive of moving this forward, but if we always do business the way we've always done business, then we're never going to solve this frickin' problem. And it's very frustrating to me that we're bending our rules to go to the MCDA to get this corporation a loan to build out office space, and we have nothing tied to it in terms of the way that we seek jobs for residents of color and North Side residents who suffer unemployment rates that are so much higher than everywhere else. So I understand where Deed is coming from, but it seems somewhat contradictory to have the governor talking about putting $100 million into helping communities of color get jobs, and then we have a job situation right in front of us, and we can't even say you need to hire through zip code hiring or hire people who are in chronically unemployed neighborhoods. So, if we don't care, we don't care. I guess we'll just continue to approve these things and hope that someone else does something. But it seems like there's a big push coming out of the state to do something about these unemployment inequities, and now the state's saying, well, this is how we always do it. We basically go to workforce centers, and that's what we do. And it just doesn't seem to me like it's enough. It seems like a shame or a missed opportunity. Further comments or questions on the loan application? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This item is approved. We'll move on to item number 3, which is a series of land sales. Mr. Pettiford.
Madam Chair, committee members, what I have here is a proposal offered by Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity to acquire 2435, 2439, and 2441 16th Avenue South. It's 3 parcels that are lined up. 2 of them are very small. The 3 parcels are currently configured Total 13,284 square feet. However, 2439 16th is a non-buildable parcel due to its size, which is 24 by 123. Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity proposes to reconfigure the 3 parcels into 2 parcels, each being 54 by 123 feet, to build 2 single-family homes. One is 1,480 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and the other 1,700 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 2 baths, each having a 2-car detached garage. The homes will be sold to low and moderate income families. Habitat has worked on this cooperatively with the East Phillips neighborhood, and they endorse it. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions from Mr. Pettiford on item number 3? Sounds like there are not. Thank you very much for your report.
Thank you.
We'll open the public hearing on a land sale of 2435, 2439, and 2441 16th Avenue South to Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Kano.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I would like to move this item forward.
This item has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 4. Mr. Pettiford.
Madam Chair, item number 4 is looking at the sale of 2609 Quincy Street Northeast, Gimmick, Greater Metropolitan Housing Corporation. They are paying full fair market value for the land, and the price is $37,400. The lot is 46 by 182, and they propose to build a 1,700 square foot, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, single-family home with a 2-car detached garage. The home will be marketed for owner occupancy at an asking price of $350,000. The Holland Neighborhood Organization supports this proposal.
Are there any questions from Mr. Pettiford on item number 4? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 4, which is a land sale at 2609 Quincy Street Northeast to the Greater Metropolitan Housing Corporation. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was hoping this could be out of the first ward doing it, but I know Councilmember Reich is not here. But because this is Quincy Street Northeast, I'm happy to move approval of this item.
Item number 4 is moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 5. I'll ask Ms. Kimball, are we going to, was the intent to postpone this?
The intention is to delete it from the agenda.
Deleted. Okay, so Irene, we'll just open the public hearing then without a report because a public hearing was required. Okay. Is there anyone here to speak to the issue of 3950 Bryant Avenue North? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and delete from the agenda. Are there any questions for staff on this report? Seeing none, all in favor of deleting item 5 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item has been deleted from our agenda, and we'll move then on to item number 6. Ms. Kimball.
Chair Goodman, members of the committee, 2701 Oliver Avenue North is a vacant structure that was marketed through the Vacant Housing Recycling Program. We recommend sale to RAM Construction and Remodeling. Their intention is to convert the property from a 6-bedroom, 2-bath duplex to a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, single-family home that would be sold for home ownership. The applicant actually, interestingly, lives just a block away from this property and is also a general contractor. I'll take any questions at this time.
Are there any questions for item number 6 on the land sale? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on item number 6, which is a land sale at 2701 Oliver Avenue North to RAM Construction. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of this land sale.
Item number 6 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 7. Mr. Curtis, welcome back.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, what you have before you is a public hearing and a request for passage of a resolution that would approve up to $15 million of 501c3 tax-exempt revenue bonds for the YMCA of the Greater Twin Cities. This is part of a larger project that's approximately $31 million. Its proceeds of the bonds will be used to acquire the floors 3, 4, and 5 in Gavaday Common Building at 6th and Nicollet. It'll be renovated into the corporate offices as well as a branch for members. And bond proceeds will not be used for the excess property. That is required as an all or nothing sale. And so other funds will be taken in to pay for that portion of this, not bond funds. And this total project will take approximately 3 years to finish. The rest of the other half of the funds will be raised from other sources.
Are there any questions for Mr. Curtis on item number 7? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open up the public hearing on item number 7, which is the YMCA bond issuance of $15 million in 501c3 tax-exempt revenue bonds. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm very proud to move this item forward.
Item number 7 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 8. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, we have an application from Joe's Garage, Inc., doing business as the Four Bells. They're located at 1610 Harmon Place, and they are both expanding their outdoor patio space at the rear of the building, and they are adding new shareholders. They will be adding 64 seats to their outside patio at the rear of the property. And in addition to existing owner Joe Kaplan, we have new investors, shareholders by the names of Doug Van Winkle, Tim Rooney, Charles Rooney, Kevin Fratsky, and Joe Wirtz. The expansion area will have an outdoor speaker in the back for background music, but the owners indicate and have put in their business plan that the speaker will be off at 10 p.m. Public hearing is required for this application. We mailed 55 notices to residents and property owners within 450 feet. We also notified the Minneapolis Downtown Neighborhood Association and the Loring Park Business Association. We received one response to that notification process. The responder was generally in support, but was concerned about patio noise, parking in the area, and things like that. The staff's recommendation in this application is that you approve it.
Are there any questions for staff on item number 6? On item number 8? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on number 8, which is an expansion of premise for Four Bells. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll move approval of this item.
Approval has been moved. Further comments and questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. On to number 9. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, we have an application for a new on-sale liquor license with Sunday sales Class E for a brand new restaurant at 416 Fifth Avenue North. Trade name will be Fifth Street Station, and it's owned by Bon Appetit Management Company. We'll have interior seating for 131 persons, outdoor seating for up to 40. Bon Appetit Management Company is owned by Compass Group USA and Compass Group PLC, which is a publicly traded company on the London Stock Exchange. Bon Appetit Management Company does operate more than 650 cafes in 33 states. The Fifth Street Station will be located on the first floor of the Be the Match building. Public hearing is required. 15 notices were mailed to residents and property owners within 450 feet. We received no responses from that mailing. The application seems to meet all of our requirements, and staff's recommendation is that you approve the application.
Are there any questions from Mr. Wilson? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 9, which is a new business, Fifth Street Station. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move approval of this item.
Item number 9 has been moved for approval. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 10. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, we have another new restaurant applying for a on-sale wine with strong beer license, Class E. It's Bonicelli and Associates Incorporated, doing business as Bonicelli Kitchen. They'll be located at 1839 Central Avenue Northeast. They will have interior seating for 48 and an exterior patio on the front, up on the Central Avenue side of the business for 24 seats. They propose hours of operation from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, inside and outside. Laura Bonicelli is the 100% owner. She has been a Minneapolis license holder as a caterer in good standing since 2006. Public hearing is required. We notified all persons and property owners within 600 feet. We notified the neighborhoods and the business association. We received 2 responses from that notification process, and both are in support. Staff recommends that you approve this application.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 10? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 10, which is a new business for Bonicelli Kitchen. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wish them good luck and thank them for their investment in the city. And I'd like to move approval of the item.
Approval of item number 10 has been moved. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then move on to item number 11, and I'll suggest that immediately after item number 11, we'll take up item number 14, so the applicant does not need to sit through 2 other hearings. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, item 11 is an application by La Borrega Negra, Inc., doing business as Costa Blanca Bistro at 2416 Central Avenue Northeast. They are seeking an on-sale liquor license with Sunday sales, Class C2. The C2 does allow 3 amplified musicians. This location has held several food restaurants since 1996, and this will be the first on-sale liquor license at this location. They will have seating for 44 persons. Interior, they do not have an exterior seating capacity at this time. They will propose hours of 7 a.m. to midnight daily. Hector Ruiz is the 100% owner. He holds other restaurant and alcohol licenses in the city at establishments such as Cafe Enya, La Fresca, and Rincon. Public hearing is required. We did the usual mailing to all persons within 600 feet and notified the neighborhood groups and business association. We received no responses. Staff's recommendation is that you approve.
Are there any questions for staff on item number 11? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 11, which is a new business, Costa Blanca Bistro. Mr. Rees is here. Do you want to say something? You're so modest. I can't stand it. Come up here and tell everyone how amazing you are.
If you don't, we will.
We will if you don't, exactly.
So thank you for giving me the opportunity here in the city of Minneapolis. So you guys, being a great supporter to my restaurants. So now that I've been kind of probably all my life in the south side now, I did try to go different paths north. So now I'm going to northeast. So I think it will be a good experience for me moving from the South Minneapolis area to northeast. So, and thanks to my staff and thank you to the city of Minneapolis for giving me the opportunity to expand and all that. So that we can say.
You're amazing. Thank you for being here. We just, every time you come in front of us and your restaurant is a success, we just are so proud of all the work you and your staff have done in the city. It's a pleasure to be able to see you via the license process and wish you good luck.
Yeah, it would be, it's great, I run to a great staff in my company, so, and I'm really grateful to have all the staff around me, keep me moving, so, thank you.
Are there further comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Cano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move approval of this item.
Item number 11 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. We'll then just take up their other item, which is item number 14. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, item 14 is a license upgrade from an on-sale wine and strong beer license Class E to an on-sale liquor license with Sunday sales, by La Colonia Restaurant at 2205 Central Avenue Northeast. They have operated with an on-sale wine and strong beer license at this location since 2008. We have worked through conditions with this applicant, particularly with respect to hours of operation. And they have signed conditions that are part of this approval that they will have hours of 11 a.m. to midnight Sunday through Thursday and 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday. The owner is Angel Yara, and he is also the manager of the establishment, and they have seating for 90 patrons. Public hearing is required because this is the first time this restaurant has ever had a full liquor license. We did a notification process for all property owners and residents within 600 feet and the Neighborhood and Business Association. We received 3 responses, and all 3 were in support. Staff recommendation is you approve this license with the attached conditions.
Questions for staff on item number 14? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 14, which is a new business license as well as license settlement conditions. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd first, since Councilmember Reich isn't here, I would like to emphasize that Central Avenue is seeing a really major revitalization right now, and it's in large part due to the small local businesses that are choosing to locate along that corridor and all of their work. So thank you, and I'm happily move approval of this item.
Item number 14 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. Item number 12, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 12 is an application for an on-sale liquor license with Sunday sales and a sidewalk cafe license by STEM Holdings, LLC, STEM Wine Bar. This is at 24 University Avenue Northeast, and this particular part of the building has not held a beverage alcohol license before. It is in the same building where we have a restaurant, JL Beers, that has a wine and beer license. STEM Wine Bar will have seating for 53 persons inside and a sidewalk cafe with a capacity of 6 persons. They will have hours of operation from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. on the inside and outside 7 days a week. The owners are Ivy Tahiri and Igor Estefan. A public hearing is required. We notified all persons, property owners and residents within 600 feet. We posted 8 multifamily dwellings were hand posted. We notified the Nicollet Island East Bank Neighborhood Association and the Historic Northeast Business Association. We received 4 responses. All were in support of this application and this business plan. Staff's recommendation is that you approve this application.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 12? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 12, which is a new business license for STEM Wine Bar. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, thank you very much, Ms. Tahiri, for your investment. It's greatly appreciated. You've been an extraordinary business owner over at Tangiers in the Warehouse District, and I know it'll be the same thing in the Senhen neighborhood as well. And I think you're really filling a unique niche here, because on the one side of you, you've got New Bohemia, which is very focused on beers. On the other side of you, you got GL Beers, which is clearly focused on beer. And right next to you, you will have Pinku Japanese street food, which I believe will have hard alcohol and possibly sake. So, we're missing the wine. So I'm really glad to see this in the neighborhood, and I live right across the street, so I'll be there very frequently. Happy to move this item forward.
On the motion to approve, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to our remaining public hearing item, which is item number 13. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have an application for a new on-sale liquor license for a tap room, for a brewer tap room with Class C1 entertainment, and off-sale malt liquor growler by Wild Minds Artisan Ales, LLC. They do business as Wild Mind Artisan Ales, and they are going to be located at 6031 Pillsbury Avenue South. And if my calculations are correct, this will be the 21st Brewer Tap Room to locate in Minneapolis since the law was passed 2 years ago. This particular location, 6031 Pillsbury, is located in an industrial zoned area. The block that this is located on is industrial, and it does back up to some residential areas, but the industrial building wherein this will be located will protect the single-family dwellings behind it from the exterior area of this, which would be on the west side of the building. They will have interior seating capacity for 80 seats, exterior 44. They're seeking hours of operation from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday to 11 p.m. on Friday, and on Saturday and Sunday just to 6 p.m. The owners of Wild Mind Artisan Ales are Matt Waddell, Chief Manager, Jason Sandquist, Taylor Johnson, Cameron Merritt, Jason Gaulis, Robert and Susan Sinkowicz. Matt Waddell will be the manager. Public hearing is required for this new liquor license. We notified all property owners and residents within 600 feet. We received 5 responses. 2 were in support and 3 opposed. The opposition generally related to the anticipated noise and traffic related to the single-family dwellings that are on the rear side of the block. That I kind of tried to point out that they will be protected by a large industrial building that will be in between them. That said, this application meets all of our requirements, and staff's recommendation that you approve the application.
Are there further questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 13? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 13, which is a new business at 6031 Pillsbury Avenue South in the 11th Ward. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Come on up, you guys. You sat here through the whole thing. Get up and give a pitch. People are watching. And there's very few
This is their target audience.
big licenses in the 11th Ward, so the council member is very excited about it.
I was actually quite nervous sitting there, just kind of heart pounding a little bit because it's going through. But we're extremely ecstatic to be in South Minneapolis. We've been able to talk with a bunch of the community members, and it's just been ecstatic to hear the support to have us down there. And we are just so happy to be part of that community because that's kind of a big part for us. And so we're really excited with what we do and trying to bring something new to the brew community.
Well, thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you very
and
much.
for locating in this location. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
These are exciting times for me, Madam Chair. Thank you. Obviously, I'm very, very excited about the addition to the neighborhood and the use of industrial land for this purpose. There's no better thing that we can make than beer. So thanks for being there for that. It'll save me a lot of commuting time up to Northeast. I'll be able to stay a little bit closer to home. So we appreciate that. I really appreciate their outreach efforts to the Wyndham neighborhood specifically and coming to those meetings. We're all looking forward to this. So I'm going to see if we can speed this process along by moving approval of this item.
Item number 13 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to our last remaining item, which is item number 25, the report on tax increment financing revenues and major development projects status report. I'll note item 23 was passed on the consent agenda item. Ms. Christensen, welcome.
Thank you, Chair Goodman, members of the committee. As you mentioned, this agenda item relates to a staff direction coming out of the 2016 budget process, during which the council president proposed and the council adopted a staff direction for community planning and economic development department, finance, the attorney's office, as well as any other relevant departments to return to this committee, as well as Ways and Means, with a report and summary of currently known large development projects in the works within the city of Minneapolis. Additionally, at that time, a related direction was approved to also return to these two committees with updated information regarding current tax increment financing resources, particularly those associated with a district known as the Common Project, as well as the Consolidated TIF District. The reason for the staff direction was to provide a broader set of information for setting priorities for funding of development projects within the city, and to understand opportunity costs when planning and funding decisions are made relating to these various projects. The original staff direction had requested to have the information report presented by April 1st of 2016. And with approval of the council president regarding her staff direction, we are returning with an update on the status of the project to inform this committee as well as Ways and Means as to the direction that we're heading, where we're, what we're currently incorporating into the analysis, as well as to seek feedback from the various committees regarding the information we're providing. So with that, we have prepared as part of the agenda item a map of the city showing some of the projects that we're currently contemplating in the overall study, and Mr. Taylor will be speaking next. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to address them.
I'm just wondering when you'll have the information with regard to the total percentage of the city's tax base tied up in tax increments, as well as some sort of analysis of how we got to where we are and how that debt picture plays into future decisions with regard to resources for development.
Chair Goodman, we do have much of that information currently available. We do provide a report to the state auditor on an annual basis. And while we don't have information available at this snapshot in time today, we do have information available as of the last report to the state auditor. And we can provide that as well as an estimate of any subsequent changes to the amount of value tied up in tax increment financing. And we will be incorporating that into a separate staff direction coming from the Council Vice President for the in an upcoming Ways and Means committee meeting.
Okay, so perhaps you could email out the information that you have with regard to tax increment. It probably should have been attached to this report. I'm sure someone's going to ask me for it as soon as this meeting ends.
Yes.
Great.
And to also remind you that it is somewhat dated information because the next round of reports are not due to the state auditor's office until August of this year, so it will be a little bit stale, but not too far off.
Well, given that we don't approve very much tax increment, it can't be that far off. Okay, Mr. Taylor, welcome.
What about it? Oh.
This is the map, yay, got it.
Yes, as I mentioned, as part of the overall analysis, as we're going down this track, we wanted to be sure that we came to this committee as well as Ways and Means to let you see the track that we're going down, the projects that we've currently identified in order to ensure that we do the most robust analysis that we can. If we're missing something, we'd like to know about it. If there's something on here that shouldn't be on here, we would also like to know about that so that we can provide the best analysis when we come back by June.
Madam Chair, distinguished members of the committee, thank you for your time today. Let me begin by saying that certainly my objective here is specific to the project side of this work. From CPED's perspective, it would be very beneficial if we were able to establish a protocol or a process for prioritizing development projects. It's certainly my sense that policymakers would own this process, that they would have the discretion and the authority to decide which of the plethora of projects that are out there. This is a map of certainly some of the projects, but there are many more out there. Which of the projects that you consider viable, which projects that you feel should move forward, which projects that you feel should be put in the parking lot, and more importantly, which projects that you want to fund. So your support, quite frankly, of this effort to prioritize the process will really help CPED to address 4 key issues, ongoing issues. The first issue is that staff are frequently asked to respond to requests to work on potential development projects, and that's fine because that is certainly our job. However, some of these projects have staff direction and some do not. The problem here, quite frankly, is very simple. Staff often find themselves investing an inordinate amount of time working on potential projects that not only have staff direction, but may never get full council support. So again, given the plethora of projects that are out there, if CPED knows in advance which potential development projects council members have agreed upon by consensus as viable future projects, it will eliminate